Give God another hand praise. Let's give God another hand praise. Amen. And I'm going to ask you to stand one more time, if you don't mind. Oh, we have a special surprise. We have a special one. We have in our midst Reverend Dr. Belva Johnson with Safe Home Housing. Amen. In collaboration with Paving the Way and Power of Love Christian Fellowship. I have the pleasure of introducing WesCal Academy, y'all. Yes, WesCal Academy out of Long Beach, and they're spreading the love of God all over. All over. I had the honor of meeting them. You can be seated, God's presence. I had the honor of meeting them about a week and a half ago. And I felt such beauty from these people, such love from these people. And they have some information for us today that's going to be a blessing to this whole animal family. Amen. So I'm going to introduce the founder and the president of WesCal Academy. Would you all give God a thunderous hand praise for J.P. Tabakian in the house, you all. Yes, yes. And he's going to introduce his team, and we're going to sit back and enjoy some good fellowship and get some information. Amen. You know, God said our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. But we got some knowledge coming for you today. Amen. Let's give God another hand praise. J.P. Tabakian.
Wow. Good morning, everybody. Is this working? Woo. All right. So I like to start off every presentation with a little humor. So my name is Dr. John Paul Tabakian. Please don't call me doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I cannot help you if you break your leg. It's not that type of doctor, right? Everyone calls me JP. There was a story that, and we'll go more to it, but we were doing these programs for these universities across the state. I just came back from Oakland in the morning. So we go on these grand tours, and we'll talk about it. And I remember that one of the colleges, LA Mission College in Sylmar, the president, his name is Monte Perez, he's retired now, and he was starting to curse me. And he says, Dr. Tabakian, he's a piece of blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at him, and I said, really? Okay. And he says, yeah, he's a scumbag. I said, really? Oh, okay, why? He says, well, WesCal is here, and he's promised to be here and talk with our students themselves. Where is he? I said, do you know who I am? He says, you're JP. It was over a year. And I said, dude. So I've always gone by JP. I want to introduce my team and my family. I got to start off with Sterlina Cerritos, our Director of Business Development.
Hello.
And also my fiance. So at WesCal, not only can you find a job, you can find a spouse. So there you go. And my brother from a different mother, Dowson, he is one of my former students from Cal State Dominguez Hills, business student. And WesCal, and he is also in line with our marketing and outreach division for a couple of state grants that we have. There's some more grants too he doesn't know about until later today. And you will learn about it too. And he's also part of our development team for our tiny homes project that we really want to share with you. I want to make really clear, we're not in the housing business. So I'm not in the housing business. I'm not in housing anybody into any type of small homes or domiciles. We are in the apprenticeship business. So it just so happens that's part of our enterprise. We are a very unusual organization, for sure. We have 85 staff. All of them are my former students. We have placed 15,000 people in full industry jobs and not in living wages. I think that's a terrible thing to call just a little higher minimum wage. We're in thriving wages. Our positions are filled in local, in city, county, state, federal government agencies. I'm the largest recruiter for the Department of Homeland Security. I hold the record number with WesCal for FBI special agents. I have 8 White House fellows. Every law enforcement agency you can think of, we're tied to. And we are the preeminent apprenticeship training program at all LA County probation halls and camps. I have students who are incarcerated. I have students who are justice impacted. We have a program that works with the Department of Defense for a skill bridge where retiring men and women from the armed forces get their full-time salary for 6 months while they're transitioning to industry.
All right now.
I have foster care, homeless youth, all of the above. And the reason why I emphasize that is we don't discriminate with who needs help with securing a thriving career. We don't provide the fish, we teach you how to fish. So we are in the apprenticeship business again, and I also believe in being 100% truthful and honest. It's really important. You notice the word mega? Okay, so whenever President Trump says make education great again or mega, he is in referencing WesCal Academy. We own all the international rights to mega, make education great again, the apprenticeship training programs, and you'll never guess the presidential administration where it started under. President Barack Obama. Life is funny. The term mega and make education great again started in 1978 in California. Did not start in 2016. Again, you got to go with the flow. You have to take advantage of every opportunity God gives you. And whatever it takes to help people achieve success, you just have to do it and never apologize. I want to start off by asking you all, do you know what an apprenticeship is? You asked me 5 years ago, JP, what's an apprenticeship? I would look at you and go, I don't know. I have no idea. We're the Lorenzo State's largest pre-apprenticeship to apprenticeship linkage. We are going to be the very first federally approved pre-apprenticeship program. They don't exist. We're the first. We are the first federally recognized apprenticeship in cannabis in the entire country. And in a very specific area, sterile processing technician. So if you heard about the popcorn lung with people vaping, whether it would be cannabis or tobacco or whatever, they would get popcorn lung. They would die because of contamination in the oil. We founded the sterile processing program to make sure that doesn't happen. We are in 8 states with Moonrock, Snoop's company. Snoop only owns 3%. My best friend owns 97%. That's a story to itself. I'll bring him here. And so, people ask, why are you in the cannabis industry? I said, I'm not in the cannabis industry. I'm in the apprenticeship industry. They said, well, how much pot do you smoke? I said, I've never touched it. I have security clearance. I don't want to lose it. And they said, well, why are you in the industry? He said, very simple. I don't want people to die. Very simple. I'm a very straightforward person with how I see the world. I get in trouble a lot. I curse a lot. I'm not doing it here. I curse a lot. I scream a lot. I lose my cool a lot. I am Armenian, of course, but I don't like stupidity. And the one rule that I follow that my dad taught me, and WesCal exists as a testament to my father, and there's more to that. I'll share that story with you in a moment. But for me, unkindness is the ultimate sin. WesCal doesn't charge students a dime for anything that we do. They're never charged anything. That funding comes from external models, has nothing to do with the student. They take no loans. They're not penalized for any training at all. And in the apprenticeship world, you are literally paid to go to school. Okay? Apprenticeship is different than college. College for most people is a waste of time. I hold 2 graduate degrees, multiple doctoral degrees. That's a story to itself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to college. I'm saying you shouldn't be stupid about it. You go to college to pursue a degree that is connected to your career field of major. It makes no sense to major in Spanish because you come from a Mexican household and you already speak Spanish. This is what students tell me. Why are you majoring in English? Do you want to be a professor? Do you want to be a writer? No, I speak English. I was born in Lancaster. Like this, I seriously hear stuff like this. How stupid that is. I go, okay, so isn't it better for our young people or students of all ages to actually get hands-on work experience in their field while they're going to school? That's an apprenticeship. In an apprenticeship world, you don't pay for school. The employer does. The employer pays, sponsors your education. The government sponsors your education also, but it's tied. That's only one part of it. The classroom instruction is one part. The other part, especially you youngins out there, listen very carefully. You also want to get credit for working in the field. So you're getting a paycheck, and for every hour that you're working, it counts towards your degree. But for an apprenticeship, I dropped out of high school at 15 years old. Best decision of my life. Don't do this. Listen to me. You two over there, don't do that. I left at 15. I had my driver's license at 14. Different world. And my father was an aerospace wizard. He helped develop the Togo missile system. That's before the Tomahawk. My dad was absolutely insane in a good way. My grandfather, my paternal grandfather was a missionary from Egypt. There's a story to that. My dad is just an amazing person, and I really revered my dad. I was also an adrenaline junkie. Now, this is a different type of junkie. So an adrenaline junkie is someone who takes a lot of chances and just says, when you're young, who cares? And so when I was a kid, I was always passionate about politics and government. I have a lot of family members who work in Washington, also in the Secret Service and other areas of intelligence. And I always looked up to them. And I wanted to also be a cook. What a combination, right? So my dad, is 15 years old. He takes me for breakfast. He says, I want you to drop out of high school. Ranking professor, aerospace wizard. Sterling and I were yesterday at the Computer History Museum, and I was showing people in the museum the stuff my dad helped develop. And I was sick, so I should work there one day. It's so cool. And I said, what? He says, yeah, take a test, go to community college, become a cook, enough. You're a straight A student, take the test and leave. You're bored, half out of your gills, leave. You're already working in the field anyway, leave. I said, is this a trick? He says, no trick. I'll help you. Get out. I did. I ended up in the White House before I was 18 as a cook. Come on. Wow. White House. So I was at LA Trade Tech College. I've been there for almost 50 years because my dad worked there too. I love Trade Tech. It's like the drunk uncle that sleeps on the couch. You just love your uncle. Trade Tech has stories. I ended up at the Atani Hotel in LA. Bill Clinton's Secret Service was in the hotel. Bill Clinton was having a tryst upstairs with a prostitute, long story. And don't do that, honor thy wife. And I got to know his Secret Service staff, and they said, hey, do you want to work in the White House? I said, sure. They got me in the White House. I worked in the White House. In the White House, I met someone who owned a company called Limousine World. I became a limousine driver for a princess, an armed limousine driver. I'm not even 18 yet. Wow. There's a story to that. I worked in foreign countries. I have multiple passports. I had an experience that is straight out of a movie. I retired at age 32. I've been a recruiter for the Office of Personnel Management. I've been a recruiter for Department of Homeland Security. I go on speaking tours. I talk with young people and go, pursue your dreams every single day. It's not about, the money never was my motivation. I don't care about it. I care about having fun, watching people become successful, and just living the dream. So this is how WesCal developed. My father who I revere more than any person in the world, and of course, and my mother, my dad cut himself shaving on April 29th, 2007, and he got a blood infection and had a heart attack. He died 6 times. I revived him twice. It was a great day. And my dad ended up in 3 hospitals over 18 months. Torrance Memorial Medical Center, UCLA Westwood, and the Providence Network. My father's left ventricle was blown out. He was the first patient in the world to have a biventricular pacer. The second person was Vice President Cheney. My dad suffered from a neurological condition that in this case was a blessing. If you take a knife and stab him, he doesn't feel it. He's one of those like, why are you dragging your foot? He says, I guess it's broken. Like he doesn't feel pain like a normal person. So it's not a bad story what I'm telling you, because 13 of his nurses were his students. 3 of his doctors were his students. 5 of his lab techs were his students. He had 2 guards. 2 guards, both his students. My students worked on him. One of my closest friends from Johns Hopkins jumped on a plane to work on my dad. It was the most amazing experience I've ever had. I checked myself into ICU because I can, and had fun. I would dress up in an outfit, my butt's all hanging out, hang out with my dad, have fun. I mean, it's nice to have friends. When you have a bill that reaches $6.5 million, it gets interesting, right? Insurance is a really interesting story too, but another story another day. So my dad, a month before he passed away, on September 2nd, 2008, my dad was talking with his doctors, and my dad is looked at me. He has no fear at all. He doesn't fear death. He's a man of God, not afraid of going to the next world. Okay. He asked me, he says, so son, they just said I'm going to be passing away soon. I said, yep, you will be worm food. Absolutely. You have to understand the relationship I have with my father. If I'm nice to my dad, that's not good. So got to keep up the same communication. So I said, you're going to be worm food. You're not there. You're up there. Who cares? And he says, look, are you going to open up a scholarship in my name? I thought about it. I retired at 32 years old. And I financially, I was really good. And I'm still am. I'm blessed. Retirement is being able to do what you want to do, not what you have to do. Okay? So at that point in my life, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do a scholarship in your name. That would be a colossal waste of money. He says, gee, I love you too. I said, Dad, you're nuts. You're a wacko. You are an academic entrepreneur. Look at this. Dude, everyone in the hospital, I know them. If my father, God forbid, is sick, she will be seen before your mother. It's not about the money. It's about family. So I'm looking at this and I went, Dad, you're an academic entrepreneur. When you go, I'm going to take some of my savings. I'm going to start a doctoral program, and I'm going to study wacko people like you, academic entrepreneurs. I'm going to start a for-profit company. I'm going to call it Tabakian Incorporated. I did. I'm going to charge families $5,000 to talk to their kids for 20 minutes a week for 16 weeks for career pathway programs. I'm going to take every dime of that, and I'm going to provide services for communities where there is no finances. I'm the largest contributor to WesCal Academy, far. Okay? 2 million in county, but who cares? I'll never get the money back. That's not the point. He says, okay, well, that's great. Then what? I said, I'm going to start a foundation. And it's going to be staffed by the students who go through the private company, and they will run it. That company is WesCal Academy. Okay. So every single photo, every employee, every student, these are not stock photos. This is all WesCal. And here we are today talking about how can we help our communities during these really troubling, questioning times. And as an academic entrepreneur, when you see chaos, you see opportunity. And so we're going to look at today the shift towards apprenticeship funding. Today, the Department of Education has its last Secretary of Education, Ms. McMahon. I am looking forward to the day that that department is shut down. I hate that department. You want to talk about harming children? That department needs to go. Because it's not normal to have a department, the Department of Education, actually certify debt for a young person of a $250,000 to have an English degree. It's unconscionable. So today, we're emphasizing apprenticeships, okay? And in an apprenticeship world, most of these kids are failing because they don't have the necessary support. And in this support, we have something that's called the buffet. As you can tell, I'm still a cook and I like to eat. One day it's going to be a soccer player. It's going to kick. You know, I'm a big boy, I'm growing. Well, there you go. And so what we do is for our students, before they commit to a training program, it's a 100-hour pre-apprenticeship to try multiple careers until they find something that they like. They pick an apprenticeship pathway, and then we connect all the necessary dots. It's funded. They have a sponsoring employer. But it's more than that. We are the only pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship program that can issue UC credit.
That's Sterlita's mentor,
When
former
you
CI
complete
director, Leon
our
Panetta.
program, we issue you UC credit from the University of California, Riverside, and we can serve any student under my contracts in the world. It is not limited to California. Now, this is not just me. I'm just the janitor. You know, I clean the mess. Poo-poo goes upstream, not downstream. I get all the stuff. I got to clean everything up. My kids did this. You know, it's a Sunday. I did not come from Long Beach. I came from Oakland. We're touring multiple apprenticeship sites and visiting our clients all across the state. And I do this quite often, you know, and I enjoy it. So people say, well, you go to church on Sunday. In a way, yeah, I'm working. I'm in the field. Prisons don't close on Sundays. My kids, a lot of my kids, and they're kids, men and women, boys and girls, they don't have a family. WesCal is their family. And so what I want to show you is
This is near Fresno.
brief
We
2-minute
use hemp
video
to build houses.
of exactly the buffet in action and how it leads to gainful employment. So how this program operates and how it's going to relate to you know, what we're proposing to do here in partnership with all of you. It's a 3-step program. We literally take this program and we offer this opportunity to students of all ages across the state. The beautiful thing here is that it's funded. So the money part, don't worry about that right now. And I want to be very, very, very clear. I don't want money from you. I will make very clear, this is not an Amway presentation. Go find your friends and have them sign up and sell soap. Doesn't work that way. This is an apprenticeship. The funding goes to you from us. And the reason why is these lights don't run for free. You know, you have to maintain facilities. You have to, you know, look at all the equipment we rerun. All right. It's amazing that I can even go into the facilities and turn on a light switch. And I've heard this, and one day you're going to have this issue. When you turn on the light switch and it goes thunk, that's a lot of power. Thunk. And I get scared. When I hear that, I'm like, I don't even want to see what the utility bills are for some of these areas. Or when you run diesel on the maritime and the tugboat operations, forget about it. Okay? So we run these presentations all over. The first slide there, I'm in Catalina Island. It's one of the poorest areas of LA County. Like, people don't even think about that. We sign them up at the WesCal. That's me as a cook. They enroll with us. They enroll in an agency called the California Division of Apprenticeship Standards. They also co-enroll with the U.S. Department of Labor. They do our 100-hour career exploration, our pre-apprenticeship, and then they're linked to an apprenticeship area. And of course, we're going to talk about tiny homes today, but one of those areas that's related to tiny homes is called MC3, construction, carpentry, plumbing, electrical, solar tech. But it's a way to house people without being a moron. In Oakland, I'm really ticked right now. So, not at you, you're good. So I go to Oakland, we have the grand tour, okay? And I always stay at the Hyatt House in Pleasant Hill. Special shout out to the Pleasant Hills. And everyone knows us, and I'm good. And he says, so what are you going to see this week? I'm going to go to the Boilermaker, not the drink. I'm going to the Boilermakers, learn about making a vat. I'm going to look at the maritime programs. I'm going to look at the tiny houses that Oakland bought. Okay. They built these tiny home communities, and the homeless burned them down. Be very careful about just sticking someone in a home. So I'm like, well, this was stupid. And you don't even know how much they spent. And I'm like, where are they? Let me see like something. I saw one shed burned. I'm like, really? Wow. Okay. So I said, there has to be a better way. And really the better way is to teach people how to fish, how to construct their own home. Because what about an electrical career with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers? What about being a drywall installer? I mean, you're talking about a starting salary of $32 an hour as an apprentice. Wow. I don't make that much. Like, I seriously don't. So they learn about these experiences and then they transition to that career. Okay. Now, before going to tiny homes, I just want to share with you also that WesCal not only links to pre-existing apprenticeship programs, we also run 6 registered apprenticeships ourselves. These 6 are the most highly placed, most profitable for the apprentice and for the sponsor. We teach people how to become CTE instructors. All of you are going there for sure. You're like, well, I preach the gospel. Congratulations, you're an instructor. You can be a college instructor. Okay? So you are certified dental assistant, medical assistant, pharmacy support, sterile processing technician, veterinary technician. These are all programs that actually can operate here. You have the space. There is the money. It doesn't matter. And then having the employers connected, you become a school. And actually, this helps with their housing too, because in this crazy world that we have, not only can these programs operate here, they can also operate at a juvenile hall facility. Barry J. Nydorf, Sylmar. We're the only apprenticeship program that operates at halls and camps. And it's actually kind of funny because this young man here, he's the owner of Moonrock. The cannabis company that everyone thinks Snoop owns, it's owned by him. We actually ran a course in the cannabis industry at a juvenile hall. I'm like, why not? You know, so those kids are locked up for drugs. Why not make money doing it legally? Yeah. So I actually want to open it up to you right now before we go into the housing part. What are you all thinking? What's going on in your head? Does this make sense to you and this new way of education? Yes. No, that's great. First off, the burning of the sheds. Oh, geez. So wait, am I allowed? Okay, so I'm trying to be. I'm in a church, so I have to be careful. I curse around the governor, so I want to be careful in the church. Oh, so only a moron would cook eggs next to their pillow.
Someone who's mentally off.
No, they built it that way.
Oh, see.
I would. Okay, so for me, no. So, and there's a certain design that I really like, with building these types of units out. Another thing is, who wants to do a number 2 next to where they live, next to where they sleep? No, who in their right mind wants a toilet next to their bed? Who would put a stove next to their bed? Now, there's one thing about a studio apartment, but I mean, there's some common sense that applies. So a lot of it, like the majority of this, is the stupidity of the administration of Oakland. That should never have done. And then they spent $45,000 per home. Okay, I do it, and I have to say, cuckoo for Cocoa Puff style, like awesome stuff, $15,000 per home. 15 versus 50, with solar panels, wind turbines, battery pack terminals, wireless internet, but no toilet, no kitchen. I don't want any gas or anything, because, and there's a reason why. We're going to look at the legal reasons why you would want to have a certain version of homes here, and then how you have the restroom facilities tied into that. So I absolutely want to go over. There's paving the way. We'll be updating soon. Don't worry. I want to go over the tiny house project. So in the tiny house project, I love this property. And the bishop is so funny. You're hilarious. I like you. I like your family, I like your friends. But sometimes I just want to hug and squeeze you and go, something's wrong with your brain. And I go, it was happened today. I said, I noticed that. I just noticed there's a shed here. And he's like, yep, came with the property. Okay. And you opened the door. I'm like, okay, this is a 120 square foot shed. Okay, so that's good. It's finished. You can live in this thing. It's really nice. That's the size of the house. That's it. That's exactly that. If you want to see a model after this, we go look at the shed. Now, he may not have known it at the time when he took the property, but that's called a permit buster. You can build any 120 square foot structure without a permit in the state of California. Gets better. So, if you have it connected to utilities, you must have it permitted. It may not, because the moment you cross over into water, it becomes habitual housing. So the electricity part is off-grid 100%. You have the solar panel, you have the battery pack system, you have the wind turbine, you're fine. And you know what? Having inspections, I do inspections all the time. For those of you who have you ever replaced a garbage disposal? Okay, and I'm not going to arrest you, so just listen very carefully. How many of you have had your garbage disposal permitted? I'm going to take you to the woodshed, and you're going to have a little talking to. Listen to me very carefully. I'm all about saving money, but also I don't want you to die. There are two main reasons why houses catches on fire is one, an improperly installed garbage disposal, of all things, because it will explode. And the second is water heaters. I always have my water heaters and my garbage disposals permitted whenever they're installed. And the plumber that you saw in my presentation, he is my plumber. He was my student. I love Rudy Casillas very much, but not so much that I'm going to let him replace anything without the city verifying what they're doing. So little lessons of the world. So we try, so tiny homes, people are saying they should be 400 square feet. Then you're getting into the permitting issues, okay? We keep them at 120 square feet. And actually, to keep the prices down and the learning scale up, we use Tough Shed. Now, Tough Shed, which these pictures are all of, these are Tough Sheds here. And that's my salesperson, Antonio, on the left. And so we use Tough Sheds because we keep them at 120 square feet. We can build these in one of two ways. One, if you don't care about the learning part, I can build them in under 4 hours. for $8,700. Okay? If you finish the shed with drywall, the solar panels, make it nice and purty like you have, okay, Mr. Spoiled. You did, I don't know who did, it's really nice. I like the electrical work. I mean, it's good. I would stay there. I would, actually. So we can actually build those units out at a high point of $15,000 a unit. Now, there's an area here that we have to really think about. How can we pay for this? And it's like, well, it's only $15,000. It's nothing, right? Well, one or two. When you get to 20, because I think you wanted 20 here. Okay, well, that's 300 grand. And then where are they going to go poo-poo? I mean, think about it. So for every 10 to 12 sheds, we should have a communal restroom facility. So we buy those units prefabbed out. They're 150,000. It's not a big deal. You drop it, you can serve, 20 to 40 people easily. We just have it dropped here, serves the sheds, call it a day. But the question here is, how can we have it paid for? Like, well, let's raise money. I don't like raising money. WesCal is a multi-million-dollar organization. Do you know how much money we have raised as donations in the last 10 years? Forget me. I don't count. How much do you think? Well, we raised some. It's actually kind of funny. It's like donations. How much? $1,035. It's like, what? Yeah, what? Yeah, it's over 10 years. I got a $1,000 check from Wells Fargo. Didn't care. And then the other one was some $35 from some kid. Well, not kid, an older guy. Was like, cool, great, awesome. I don't ask for donations. I don't like trick-or-treating. I don't like begging. I like invoicing. So, good story about this, and I learned this from Mr. Toyoda, Toyoda Harito, the great-grandson of the founder of Toyota Motor Company, lives next to my house, really nice guy. The former head of North American Toyota is Mark Levine, no relation to the celebrity guy. And I knew them very well. And Mr. Toyota drives either a Camry or a Corolla. And he goes to Starbucks in Harbor Gateway, and he still smokes a lot. So, and I asked him when I was younger, I said, can I ask you a question? Why don't you drive a Lexus? He says, what? He says, I asked him, why don't you drive a Lexus? He says, you Americans are kind of dumb. Oh, thanks. He said, no, he said, all right, let's think about that. Do you know what Lexus stands for? I said, I don't know. And he says, it doesn't stand for anything. We made it up. We made up the word Lexus, luxury exports to the United States. Like that, their marketing division created Lexus. He says, son, let me teach you something. The mashed potatoes of Toyota Motor Company is Corolla and Camry. The gravy is Lexus. I don't care about Lexus. Like he will never drive a Lexus. He still doesn't drive a Lexus. Okay. And I was like, huh, okay. And I remember that. So WesCal, our mashed potatoes, is invoicing the government for services rendered. So that includes something called ETPL, Eligible Training Provider List. It's a training fund for job training programs, like apprenticeship programs, okay? The other area is funding from the county because we serve, at-risk students and at-promise students and justice impacted, halls and camps, diversionary. They fund us and they say, can you provide them with your exploration program? And they're absolutely incompetent, the county. And I said, great, I'm going to give them college credit. I'm going to get them a job. They don't care about that. And I went, no, we just want them to have exploration. Okay, so I'll bill you a ton of money for nothing and I'll do everything else on my own? Yes, fine. So there's another area. Now, in this world, these tiny homes is a lab fee. You are not going to rent it out to anybody. If you want to go to prison, do that. You shouldn't go down that road. It's not Airbnbs, okay? These are lab fees for job training. So working with Paving the Way Foundation, okay? They were converting shipping containers into homes. That's $50,000 a piece. And it's a great way to learn how to do framing within. It's not lost. It was a good learning experience. This is far more affordable. And plus, you can tie this into the union trades. Paving the Way Foundation runs a pre-apprenticeship exploration program. Same thing. We have contracts they don't have. They have contracts we don't have. Connect everything together, expand on those areas. Now, how this applies to this location. This, to me, is a school. Now, we will run it with you. It will be our curriculum registered with the state and the feds, and we will partner with you to run this for the community. In political terms, I don't want to be a carpetbagger. Carpetbagger is someone who moves into an area which they're not from, and they go, I got my carpet with me. I'm going to throw it here. I'm going to run for office. And they're like, who are you? That's stupid. I'm not from this community. I visit. I know my limitations. This is your community. You know what your community needs. They know you. We are going to come here and we're going to train you to become instructors and to run the program. And you know what's actually, and consider this. Sit back and think about all the positive impact and life skills that you are providing your constituents today from the bottom of your heart without funding. You don't change anything. Nothing changes. All that extra overhead, WesCal handles it. You continue doing what you're doing, and you can have those job training programs operating here in collaboration, not only with an educational program, but in collaboration with the Trump administration, the new U.S. Department of Labor, the California Division of Apprenticeship Standards, and knowing that after Donald Trump leaves the White House, and let's say a Democrat goes in, nothing will change. Apprenticeships is a bipartisan issue. Anyone who's against an apprenticeship, that there's something wrong with that person's brain. Okay? Unions support Republican and Democratic administrations, especially when you're looking at the building construction trades. You are on very safe ground. On top of all that, all tough sheds are made in the United States. Now, in terms of employment opportunities, okay, for our kids, right? All right, so every tough shed, and I don't work for Tough Shed, and I get no financial compensation for Tough Shed. Like nothing. I pay them. I want to make it very clear that we pay Tough Shed, okay? We don't get anything. I'm not a sponsor. I don't own shares. It's a privately held company. It has nothing to do financially with us. If I found a better company to work with, I will be jumping, with joy. That's not an issue. It's an American company, and in these factories, the closest one to here is Arletta. They are prefabricated in the factory as kits. The kits are then received by a subcontractor who builds out the shed. Okay, so the jobs tied to these industries. One is assembly. Maybe you want to be a general contractor. Now at Paving the Way Foundation, for example, they have a GC. Their staff can actually install these things and make money from Tough Shed doing it. Hell, I can pay them to do it. That's one. The second one is prefabrication, learning machine shop that we have to actually build the kits and the doors and the windows in the factory. That's called prefabrication. They do their own job training. They recruit from WesCal. They put them in the factories. They're in 48 states. They ain't going anywhere. And with all the tariff stuffs and threats going around, they're not as impacted as other companies. The third one is landscaping. We're not talking about, trimming the hedges or anything here. We're talking about leveling the ground. Maybe you want to put a concrete slab. You're actually really lucky. In the back, you're actually really good. So, a lot of these job opportunities kids don't know about, okay? And then going into the other aspect of construction technology, I want you to put your thinking caps on, okay? I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I want you to think as an entrepreneur, as an investor. We are investing in sure things. So in sustainable applications, okay, just this one project we're talking here with the construction tech, carpentry is covered, electrical, hempcrete, which I would love to grow hemp with you here. Hemp, you can't smoke it. It's not going to do anything. Hemp, we use it for clothing, rope, construction drywall, hempcrete, hemp board. Tough Shed is exploring with WesCal to build sustainable sheds using hemp. Okay? Hemp doesn't burn when treated with borax. It will never burn. Okay? Remember there's a video of me holding that block? I was waiting for 30 minutes. Nothing happens. HVAC, landscaping, masonry, painting, plumbing, roofing, welding. Okay, all these areas can be tied to the tiny home project. Okay. Let's take that one step beyond. We're going to future-proof your career training. In 2036, all HVAC systems are illegal for new construction. You are not allowed to install a normal HVAC system in any new residential, commercial, or industrial dwelling. They must all be heat pumps. Because you have to for an industrial, you have to put pipes under the ground. There's certain things to do, okay? Okay, again, people are stupid. A heat pump is 90% more efficient than an HVAC. In Canada, where it gets really cold, when my mom's side of the family is there, you are nuts if you even consider using a normal HVAC system or a furnace system. There's something wrong with your brain. You have to use a heat pump system. How cold it gets, you forget it, okay? Hempcrete 2023 was allowed to be used in construction in 2023 here in California. We just so happened, just a coincidence, Now, there are two major farms for hemp production. One is in Colorado. The other one is in Lemoore, next to Fresno, okay? Hemp traders created the technology for processing hemp in the fields. The only other area is China. Hempcrete and Chemergy and the Hemp Council, the Cannabis Council, it's WesCal. All of it is WesCal Academy. Now, why we're saying that is because it opens up another door of investment for this organization to go into hemp construction tech. PEX 2018. So, anyone repiped their home lately? Do you know what copper piping is? Corrodes. It's crap. I will never, ever, 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 ever install copper piping in any construction project I oversee. PEX is a fraction of the price. PEX doesn't break. PEX doesn't if the water freezes, it doesn't happen that often here, but it doesn't break like normal pipe, like copper does. Okay? PEX is an amazing product that most people in the trades are not taught. They say, well, we should just stick with copper. Solar, past 2020, all new construction has to have solar panels. Now, here's the thing, though. I'm going to tell you something. Solar panels, hey, they're great. Sure. If I were you, I would stop installing them on the roof. If you have a lot of land here, I would put them on poles on the ground, much more easier to maintain. I would combine solar panels with wind turbine systems that are tubes. The blades are within for power generation. Okay, you have a lot of wind here. We teach that. That was allowed for residential construction in 2021. You are now allowed to install wind turbine systems in homes. Okay, and the tankless is not a requirement of 2017. It depends on how you're designing your system. So again, we cover all aspects in our instruction, okay? Now, implementation, I just want to share with you really fast how this actually will work. I really want you to ask us questions, please. We're not in rush to do anything. Anyone who says you have to decide right now, there's something wrong today. Okay, it's like everything when you're building a home, you want to make sure you have a strong foundation. I want to make sure everyone knows what we're talking about. But in implementation, if we were to move forward, this is what would happen. This site would literally become a training site registered with the U.S. Department of Labor and the California Division of Apprenticeship Standards. That's the first thing. The second thing, we will register this site with the AJCCs and the workforce boards to process student tuition. They don't pay that. Student tuition from ETPL to fund these programs. Okay? We will then train your staff who want to be part of this training program how to do it. And then this organization bills us for running the programs you're already running. Okay? What's in it for me? I get to stay in the shed once in a while. I will. I have students who are from the area who need jobs and opportunities in this area. The more job training programs that are in California, the more capable WesCal is as an organization. Plus, there's another one. It's pretty damn selfish. If I have a kid who was kind of a moron and did something stupid and shouldn't stay in the same neighborhood anymore, and it's time for a new life, maybe they should come here, and maybe some of your kids here should go to NorCal. Maybe a change of scenery is not a bad idea. I'm just saying. And also in a lot of the industries, let's say someone wants to be a merchant maritime person. Well, the best merchant maritime program, unfortunately, it's in Maryland. And that's the Seafarers Union. How do you get into that? Well, you go into WesCal's pre-apprenticeship program. We connect you with the Seafarers Union over in Wilmington. You go into the boot camp. And if you pass muster, they put your butt on a plane and off to Maryland you go. And it's as simple as that. And a lot of kids don't have that resource of knowing who can they ask for support, that advisement, that mentorship. And so I want to close with, you two, come on, tell them your story, because you graduate from the program so they can pick on you. Go. And I want the X-rated version.
X-rated?
I want the full Monty.
The full Monty.
Don't hide nothing.
Okay, I won't hide anything. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for being here. I'm glad to have been invited. Thank you, Bishop Jackson, for inviting us. It's a blessed opportunity to be here and speak with y'all. So I always felt like one of the greatest tragedies of someone's life is wasted opportunity. You get one life here on earth, and I want to make sure people have the capacity to really use up, all the opportunities that are provided to them. A little bit about my background is, I always like to kind of joke around that it all started going downhill when I was 14, because, You wanted the X-rated version. It's not really X-rated, but just substance abuse began when I was 14 years old. A lot of people may not think that I went through all that stuff, but I did. I just went down a wrong path when I was 14. I didn't have the support that I needed. I got kicked out of high school when I was 15 years old. I just had some issues with, violence, not listening. I never attended class. Just, you would see a bad kid. A lot of people said you're a bad kid, you're a bad apple. So, but what I really needed was, I needed some guidance. I needed some help. I needed mentorship. I needed someone to say, hey, you're not on the right path. I would ditch school. I would go and drink alcohol when I should have been in class. Just substance abuse all around. Not only that, but being in that environment, I was with a lot of people that were not looking out for my best interest. And they wanted to lead me down the wrong path. It must have brought them some kind of sick pleasure to kind of corrode my mind at such a young age. At 14, you're still a child. I'm 31 now, but I look at someone that's 14, that's a child. So, I got older. When I got kicked out of high school, luckily, my sister was a teacher's assistant at a continuation school, and the administration had given me and my mom a choice. Sterlina can either go down the continuation school, she can get her GED, finish early, and then you do whatever you want with your daughter, was what they told my mom. Or she can go to juvenile hall, or she can go to military school. I can't do a push-up. I mean, I'm so skinny. Like there's no way I can do a push-up. So I begged my mom, please take me to, continuation school. My sister's there. I know my sister. I want to be around people that I'm familiar with, because out here, it's not good. So I actually, and it kind of pains me to say it, but going back to wasted opportunity, I wasted a lot of time from the ages of 15 when I got kicked out of high school to, believe it or not, I got my GED at 24. I spent a lot of time, wasted a lot of time. My bad habits continued even though I was taken out of the environment, because I heard a saying, wherever you are there. So bad habits continued. I ditched continuation classes, and I struggled a lot. My dad actually was in and out of prison my whole life. When I was born, he was in prison. When I was from the ages of 9 to 10, he was in prison. He was deported, came back, and went to prison again when I was 17. And I got hit by a car. Things work out in a funny way. I got hit by a car when I was 17. I got a little money out of it. And with that money, I bailed my father out because I really wanted him home. And I said, I'm going to continue. I'm going to get a little more serious, because time's passing. Time is a river. It's rushing, and it waits for nobody. That's right. So it's a lot. It's just a lot it's like a fire hose. But I got a little older. I got a little more serious about life, and I kind of rushed through my GED. And so my friend, she wanted to go to culinary school, and luckily there was a program at Trade Tech. And this is where I start kind of narrowing in on how I got here. She said, I beg you to come to Trade Tech with me. I don't want to be alone. I said, okay, fine. I'll go to Trade Tech, even though I was a little nervous. I enrolled into Trade Tech. Unfortunately, I didn't know what a general education plan was. Usually people go to Trade Tech, or they go to a school from A to Z. I'm going to major in this. I'm going to graduate on this date. I didn't have that plan. So I went and I just started taking classes, English, French, gym. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just wasting time. So it wasn't until I met a couple students that were in JP's class, and they were in WesCal, and they said, hey, I think you need some guidance. I mean, this is God. I think you need some guidance. They invited me to an event, and that is where I met JP. now Vice President of Administration, Joseph P. Lopez, is actually the one that put the event together. And I met JP, I met WesCal. He said, kid.
What? No.
No.
I said, no, guys, you gotta put the full no. What did I say? Say it. No, full.
You said, oh,
Full version.
shoot. You said, I'm blanking out. You said, hi, I'm the devil. Why would you say that?
I don't know.
But
I got your attention.
Yeah, he tried to shock me. You were trying to shock me, and boy, did that shock me. I said, like, this is intriguing.
Well, it's a
Okay.
political event.
I said, you know what? I've got nothing going in my life right now. I'm just gonna open my ears to this opportunity. So I told him basically what I told you now, and he said, yeah, you need some guidance, you need some help. By the way, I was single at the time. So, and I liked you, he liked me, we're both single people, we got together.
6 days later.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? I want to give people the opportunity that I didn't have when I was 15. I want to be the person to somebody that I needed when I was 15. So I'm going to, get into WesCal. I'm going to go full Monty, and I'm here now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I actually was an instructor at the Dorothy F. Kirby Center in Commerce. It's a juvenile camp, and boys and girls. And I actually went in there and I told them my story. I didn't hold back. I said, you know what? I've experienced substance abuse as basically a child, because 14, you're a child. Substance abuse. My father was in and out of prison. It was hard to see him. My father's been deported. That was difficult as well. And we grew up in a modest little apartment in Koreatown, because that's where I'm from. And we didn't have all the money in the world. We made do with what we had. And I've gone through a lot of things. I can count on my hand the amount of times that I have had a brush with death. And I'm talking like I had to sit down and be like, wow, I almost died right now. So relatability, I want to let people know that I'm there for them and that they're not alone. And this is what WesCal does. We're there to provide a safety net for the youths, not just for the youth, but for anybody. But definitely the youth is where it starts, because that's how it started with me. Like I said, I felt like I was going downhill at 14, which is a tragedy. No child at 14 should feel like their life is going downhill. And so I am there to lend someone a hand and say, I've been where you're at, I've walked in your shoes, and we're going to provide you help. And there are studies that show that unemployment can really mess with your mind. You need money to keep the lights on. You need money for food, clothes on your back. So we're here to provide that for the youths, for the next generation, and for anybody that needs the help. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to pass it over to Dawson.
Well, I feel bad. Made y'all bring 3 mics for no reason, but I just want to say thank y'all for letting us join you today. It was very nice. It's always nice being a part of worship and a community like this where the Spirit is just one. So I really appreciate you guys listening to us this whole time. My name is Dawson Ray. I'm a former student of JP. I'm also a former resident of Lancaster and Palmdale. I'm originally from the South. You can hear in certain words. I'm from Texas, but I spent my formative years over here, so I consider I'm from the Antelope Valley. Coming out of high school, I was one of those students that wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do. I had a half idea, I had dreams, I had ambition, but I didn't have an applicable thing. And I was fortunate, blessed, and beyond lucky to be able to go to college. The opportunity kind of landed in my lap. And for a lot of my friends from school, the same didn't happen for them. They either ended up stuck where they were or even worse, incarcerated, things like that. And I understand that's such a common experience here in the Antelope Valley, is that there's a lack of resource, lack of knowledge. I went to Lancaster High School, graduated at P9. P9 was, blessed. There was a lot of those opportunities, but I noticed at Lancaster I didn't have those. I didn't have those resource fairs, those ideas or career opportunities that wasn't brought there. Going into college, I started to get a better idea, and the thing that changed my life was I learned the importance of mentorship. To have someone who's walked the path you are on and could actually share that experience with you. I'm a first-generation college student. No one in my family's ever been to college, and next year I'll be the first college graduate in my family, point blank period. I was blessed to get there, and I was pushed by my grandma. She was the only person in my family that ever saw anything beyond a blue-collar job. She was an accountant without formal education, and she pushed the importance of getting education or getting some kind of training that is very relative to your experience and push yourself further. But she let me know you need to find someone who's walked that path to be able to teach you. I got to college, I was very overwhelmed. I didn't understand what opportunities exist. Like Sterlina said, one of the biggest things or worst things in life is a missed opportunity, or to me, it's opportunities that were never presented to you in the first place, a door that was never open. That's been the best thing about being a part of WesCal, and meeting JP was one, I found the mentorship I needed, and now I understand I can extend that to those from the community I'm from. So coming back to Palmdale and Lancaster and Antelope Valley has been nice knowing that there's a lot of students and young kids out here who need those resources, who don't know what doors are open. They don't even know these jobs exist. I always forget HVAC is a job. It's just something you don't really think about. Unless you have a brother, father, mother, or someone who's worked that job, it's really hard to get into and really hard to learn that kind of trade. So to be able to offer these very lucrative and survivable jobs, a job you can genuinely live off of and take care of a family off of, to me is beyond valuable. A lot of students or a lot of young people end up stuck doing the same thing. They don't figure out until they're way older, and by then they've done a lot of damage. But having these opportunities here and a way to take care of them is huge to me. And that's why I've been so happy to be a part of this program. Be taken care of like that. Yes.
Thank you. So, does anyone have any questions, comments? I mean, before I hand it over to...
I just want to make sure I heard you right. You were asking, how do I balance taking advantage of a wonderful opportunity and, I'm sorry, you said?
Still balancing life, whatever it is that's life at hand.
Okay.
Whatever it may be.
So this is exactly why mentors are important, because that type of question I would ask to someone that is trusted, someone that's been there, someone that's done it. And typically it's someone that's a little older than me, like JP. I've had a few mentors through WesCal. Even though Joseph, our VP of Admin, is 32 and I'm 31, he's also my mentor. I would ask him a question like that. This is why it's important. This is why we emphasize mentorship, because those type of questions, I would know that, I would know how to answer that. So it's good to seek out advice, suggestions, life advice, because someone like JP has already been there. They've already done that. So if I ask JP, how do I balance my full-time classes? Because it's a great opportunity to be in school. And how do I balance my full-time classes as a student and manage my job at the same time and manage this event that I have to do? Like, how do I do that? I've been there. And now that I've been there, and also you learn from your mistakes. It's a trial and error. Now that I've been there, and let's say I messed up a few times, which I have, no one's perfect, I learn from that. And then I pass that on. I pass on that torch of knowledge. So it's definitely having support. To balance all sorts of things, to spin all kinds of plates, you do need a lot of support. And we always tell our students, don't be afraid to ask for help. I used to be afraid to ask for help. I used to think that maybe people would think some type of way about me if I asked for help. Oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. But that's okay. I feel like a lot of people don't know what they're doing. This is why we ask for help. This is why we seek out guidance. And it may be a little uncomfortable at first to seek help, but you get used to it because you start to learn, oh, asking for help, it helps. It helps. And who doesn't like to, have the help? Because you learn from that and you pass that on.
You should share the come to Jesus moment.
I've had a lot of come to Jesus moments. Which are you talking about?
So I want to, okay. So we have something called the come to Jesus moment. So when a new person comes into WesCal, I go, all right, we're not sugarcoating anything. I'm a very in-your-face, hardcore person. Like, I don't play. I don't want to see you run into a wall. I believe in people, allowing people to make mistakes so they can learn from it. But I would be damned if I'm going to let you run into the wall to the point that you're dead or you face something catastrophic. Because any person who lets you run into a wall is not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in part of our Come to Jesus moment in WesCal, I make it very clear that that when you join this organization, you are family in this organization. You will come to realize that the people that you thought were your friends are not, and you will get rid of them.
Yes.
The birds of a feather flock together. Okay. I am not the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I'm not doing my job if I'm the smartest person in the room. And I emphasize this. You may lose your girlfriend, your boyfriend. You may lose all your friends. And you know what? These people are not your friends. Someone who criticizes you for studying or being engaged in a job training program. Hey, how come you're not hanging out with me tonight getting drunk? Because I have a life? I have other things to do? I don't drink. I haven't had any alcohol for 7 years because one day my doctor said, you're going to die. And Sterlina noticed my nose turned red like Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, and my eyes were turning yellow. That's not a good sign. And I would drink every single day. Not to the point of falling down or anything, but in my culture, you drink every day. It's not a big deal. Well, my body said, you're done. God said, you're done. So I was like, I'm done. And just like literally like that. A lot of the people that I would socialize with in industry, they criticize me for not hanging out with the boys. And in my industry also, there's the girls too. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need this. I don't hang out with anyone outside of WesCal Academy. I have no friends outside of WesCal Academy. If you're not part of WesCal, I don't know you. I don't have lunch with anyone outside this company. My mom is in this company. I do not hang out with anyone outside of WesCal. I walk the talk. Now, for our students, if they want to be successful, one of the questions I ask them is, how do you gauge success? I would like to ask all of you, we're here together, what is success for you? Okay, overcoming obstacles, okay. Who wants to be rich? There's nothing wrong with being rich. Okay, all right. So I want to change up this question a little bit. How many of you would want to be rich, and how many of you want to be wealthy? Okay. Can someone tell me what the definition of wealth is in the United States? I bet you don't know. You do know because you took my classes. I'm wealthy. So I'm for sure wealthy. What's the definition of being wealthy in the United States?
Good friends.
Okay.
Well-rounded.
Well, I'm going to go more with the financial part. So the definition of wealth in the United States, you have to maintain your current standard of living, if you like it. Can you maintain your current standard of living for 10 years without working? That is the definition of wealth in the United States. So you take your current standard of living. I'll tell you exactly how I live. I live in a 1,500 square foot home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single story. I do not like 2-story homes. I think they're garbage. I do not ever will live in a 2-story home. It's really too expensive. I don't need it. I'm the type of person, I go to construction areas and zones and training location. I go, WesCal is part of all this. This is cool. I don't need to have that money in my pocket. So wealth for me, my lifestyle, I'm really happy. So I'm way beyond 10 years. Probably 100 or more. I never have to work again. Like there's no, I don't need to do anything. And again, work, okay? As we're looking at work, what the definition of work is, we really look at retirement. Retirement, again, is being able to do what you want to do, not what you have to do. I can honestly say that I put in over 100, 120 hours a week in WesCal, easily. I don't care. Because listen, look at what I do for a living. I get to go on ships. Well, boo-hoo me. You know, I get to go to construction zones and blow stuff up. I get to do a lot of cool things. I get to hang out with my kids. I will drive to Berkeley to have coffee. And I did. I went to a meeting in Alameda County for 30 minutes. And they're like, why'd you come here in person? Because before I sign a contract with you, I want to see if I actually like you. Let's go have coffee and hang out. Let me see the facilities. My jaw dropped when what I saw. I'm like, cool, let's do this. You know, those little life experiences, a lot of kids don't understand what motivates someone like myself as president of WesCal. And I don't, you know, for me, they ask, you know, well, you must be able to buy what. I'll tell you the happiness for me. I get to go to a supermarket and I can buy food. And as the prices continue to go up, it doesn't affect me. I take care of my mom. I cover all the bills. I'm happy to do so. I'm in a position that I can do that. During COVID, I covered people's mortgages and their apartments myself. I moved people into my home. If people needed extra time, I'll never forget that I had some staff members who said, look, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, okay, I know that, no kidding. And there's, you know, what happens to my sick leave? I said, you don't have sick leave. What do? I don't know, cash your paychecks that you continue to get?